Alrighty, so I'm doing one of these again where I'm doing a quick reaction after the game, and of course I am coming live just outside of Allianz Field. In fact, it is a very cold night right now here in St. Paul and just outside of Allianz Field. I think the temperature is in the 40s right now. You can also tell that I am pretty much have my scarf onto my neck and also wearing a jacket, and even then I'm still feeling relatively cold. Though that being said, despite the fact that it's cold, I'm definitely very happy about this resort. And again, you just kind of had a feeling this one was going to go to a PK shootout. And of course, longtime viewer would know that whenever I mention how when a game starts late, usually that means that it's going to have a long amount of stoppage time, or the fact that if this is a playoffs, that means it's going to go to extra time and it's going to go to a PK shootout. And even though I know this is not in the West Coast and we're in the Central Time right now, this game did kick off at 8 p.m., which is I think the latest kickoff out of Game 2 of this second round. So yeah, thank you MLS in terms of trying to put this game at 8 p.m. that late. But still, despite the fact that it was a late kickoff, gotta credit in terms of Minnesota fans definitely showed up in this game. I was kind of a little bit nervous with the way that because it's a cold game and it is a night game, people wouldn't show up. But yeah, they definitely showed up in this game. Where Allianz Field was absolutely bouncing. This was probably the best atmosphere I've experienced at Allianz Field. Probably, I would say even better than what I saw a couple of years ago when I went to that decision day game between them and the Vancouver Whitecaps to clinch themselves into the playoffs. But nevertheless, as I said, this game did go to a PK shootout. And again, these two teams, it just feels like they cannot win whenever Minnesota and RSL play each other. And also, I do apologize for the fact that I'm kind of shaking the camera. Again, it is really cold right now. And again, like I said, both of these teams, it just feels like they cannot stop drawing each other. I think this is now the 6th straight draw between both of these teams right now, and that again, you just kind of feel like after what we see in the last game and really in this game as itself, you just kind of had a feeling that it was going to go down to PKs. Though I would say that in this game, this felt like kind of a typical Minnesota game at home where again, they had a billion chances in the first half to convert. They couldn't do so. They eventually did get one in the second half, but guess what happened when they decided to seize the rest of the game out? Yep, they decided to kind of go Rohit mode a little bit. They let RSL back into the game, eventually gave up well, I wouldn't say it was a late goal. It happened around the 75th minute mark, but still, again, another goal giving up late in this game. And again, eventually this game did go to a PK shootout. And that, I gotta say, Dane Sinclair, I know in the last game he didn't make a save, and I know people were kind of criticizing the fact that, well, all the glory shouldn't be on Dane Sinclair in terms of winning the PK shootout. It's really mainly because RSL players just kind of messing up on their PKs, and in some way it was. In the last game, RSL was not very good in their PKs, and in this game, it was pretty clear that they weren't good on their PK as well. Another player we saw in the PK shootout basically blasted into the moon. The last game was Justin Glad. This time it's Matt Crooks basically blast that one into the wonder wall. But I gotta say, Dane Sinclair, he made a couple of big saves. I think the first one that he had was back in round number 2. I forgot who was the player that he made the save on, but the one that he made in round number 4, that was just absolutely filthy. The way that he absolutely stonewalled Diego Luna on that penalty. It wasn't even a bad penalty that was made from Diego Luna. That was actually a pretty good placed penalty, but Dane Sinclair somehow, in some way, full stretch, tipped that one onto the post. And you just kind of had a feeling when that penalty was going to be the save that, yeah, it was over for RSL. Even though, I saw Sunbin basically steps up to take the penalty, which, yeah, I wasn't very confident because Sunbin has had his trouble in terms of scoring from the penalty spot. In game number 1, he had that issue when it comes to just almost missed it. It literally went under the leg of Zach McMath, but he was able to tuck it in cleanly this time to win the PK shootout for Minnesota. By the way, another note in terms of the PK shootout, Will Trapp actually missed the only PKs for Minnesota. He definitely didn't put that one on target. Will Trapp, he's not a bad penalty kick taker, but yeah, that game kind of sums up of why he's not very good when it comes to his finishing. But besides the penalty kick shootout as well, that's kind of maybe the big talking point in terms of this game. What I also saw in this game, like I said, the Loons, they missed a lot of chances in the first half. It was just your typical kind of Allianz Field, kind of a very Adrian Heath kind of game where they have a lot of chances, don't put it away. I think probably the most egregious one was Joaquin Pereira basically had a free header there. And I know Joaquin Pereira has not scored a lot of goal for this team. He's more of kind of a playmaker, but yeah, from that angle, the fact that he not only missed that free header, but put that one wide and it wasn't even close to being on target. Yeah, that just kind of sums up what I thought was, oh boy, here we go again. It's one of those nights again for this Minnesota United team of just missing chances after chances. Another thing that I also noticed is, Brian Vera, of course, got booed every time he got the ball. I kind of had a feeling that was the case. And also, when they announced the starting lineup, I kind of find it interesting the fact that the stadium PA announcer didn't announce Brian Vera until the very last player. I'm not sure if they did that intentionally, but yeah, that's kind of interesting to see. And again, Brian Vera basically was booed mercilessly throughout the game. He also had that one bad moment where he was trying to clear the ball away and just completely failed to do so. And Yeboah basically was in on goal, unable to put that one away. But yeah, the fans were definitely serenading Brian Vera in terms of his bad kind of thing that he did a couple of weeks ago. I mean, we all remember the spitting situation that he has with Michael Walk. So Chicho Arango actually didn't start in this game, which, that was I mean, you would say that it's a surprise because, Chicho has had his struggle lately. I mentioned in my review how he's been struggling in terms of putting away the chances and scoring goals. But, for a guy that is kind of a DP kind of caliber of player, I wasn't expecting him to maybe get benched, but I guess maybe Pablo Mastroeni had enough after the last game and that he was kind of benched in this one before coming off the bench. And I kind of find it funny that his first touch was just a complete mishit into the wonder wall there. I mean, if that doesn't sums up Chicho Arango's second half of the season, I don't know what is. And, the only goal that RSL, of course, scored. Oh, by the way, the goal that Minnesota eventually scored in the second half, I think it was Rosales, the one that scored the goal. It was a lovely ball there from Kelvin Yeboah, who I didn't think this was one of his better game. I think this is kind of one of those games where, all number 9 is going to have these kind of game where the finishing is just not there. But if you can't finish, then why not be the provider? And he did exactly like plays it to Rosales, who puts that one in. Rosales has not scored a lot of goals this season for this Minnesota team, but he finally did here. And like I said, after that, this Minnesota team started to really kind of bunker it. It's kind of similar to what I see during the Adrian Heath kind of days. And not to mention, another thing that I've saw that was kind of bad habit is the struggles in terms of defending set pieces. Again, this was a huge problem for this team during that stretch when they were on a long winless run. They just cannot defend set piece to save their lives. And would you know it, in terms of, well, actually the goal that they conceded wasn't coming from a set piece. It was actually a lovely build up from RSL that set Anelli through on goal and he tucks it home. But there was a couple of times where RSL actually scored and the flag comes up, including just 1 minute into the second half where I think Brian Vera, of all players, scored the goal there. But, Minnesota got bailed out because Matt Crooks was in the vicinity. He even ducked to try to avoid that, and obviously he's in an offside position. And I've said it many times before, you don't have to touch the ball, but if you are intervening in the play, that's always going to be called offside. And then late in the game, I think Justin Glad had a goal that was called offside because of bad set piece defending again from Minnesota. That's going to be something that they have to clean up heading into the next game, which, by the way, the next playoff game, again, this is where I can understand why many people hate this playoff format. I mean, if you ask me my opinion about this playoff format, I don't like it either, especially with the way that now Minnesota is not going to be playing in a playoff game until 3 weeks time. You still have the game 3 that is going to happen next week, and there's definitely going to be a couple of them after what happened today and yesterday. And not to mention, you also have the November international break, so that should be very interesting to see that, with all these momentum that Minnesota, of course, had, and with all the momentum the Galaxy has had. I mean, the Galaxy absolutely mopped the floor against Colorado Colorado in that 2-game series, but it feels like it could be a little bit different because of this 3-week break, and the momentum had just kind of completely gone by the time it feels like both of these teams are set even. I mean, I still think that, you know, the Galaxy maybe are heavily favored, though I did predict the fact that Minnesota was going to beat the Galaxy in my prediction, and, you know, I took a bold prediction thinking that that is the case because I thought Minnesota could carry this form that they had in the season and heading into playoffs and do well. And, well, you know, in this 2-game series against RSL, I didn't expect this was the way to do it in terms of winning a PK shootout twice against this Real Salt Lake team. I mean, I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it, and now we'll see how they're going to do against the Galaxy, and they're going to have their hands full because, again, this Galaxy team, you know, even with the 3-week break, this is a very deadly attack, probably the deadliest attack besides Inter Miami, and probably the deadliest attack in the Western Conference. Sorry, LAFC fan, but I mean, deep down, you know, the Galaxy are probably just a little bit stronger on the attack when they're definitely on. But either way, guys, hope you guys enjoy this video. I mean, by the way, I don't know how I have now made a 10-minute video despite the fact I've been sitting in this bench for the last 10 minutes or so. My hands actually started to kind of freeze off. I mean, that's what happened when you're in a November evening here in St. Paul when the temperature is in the 40s. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.